Hey guys, this looks like a fun one. It says three identical rectangles are stacked inside of a semicircle. Find the total shaded area. This is another puzzle from Katrina Ag. And if you want to try this one, pause it right now because I'm going to solve it in 3, 2, 1. First, let's focus on one of the rectangles. Let's label the base X and the height Y. And let me explain why. We're doing this so we can find a formula for the area. The shaded area is going to be three of these rectangles, so it's going to be x times y times 3. And that's the same thing as 3xy. This looks important. Let's put a box around it. And next, let's draw a radius from the center to here. Since we are given that this diameter is equal to 10, the radius will be equal to 5. And then we can construct this segment and this segment. And since this is made up of the sides of the rectangle, this will be a right angle. So we have a right triangle. We're going to be able to do Pythagorean theorem. And then from here, let's draw another radius. This radius will also be equal to 5. And we can draw this side and this side of another right triangle. This side of this triangle is the same thing as two heights of our rectangles. And since the height of one rectangle is y, this will be 2y. And then this side is half the width of one of the rectangles. It'll be equal to x over 2. And now we can do Pythagorean theorem. From this triangle, we have x squared plus y squared equals 5 squared. And then from the other triangle, we have the quantity x over 2 squared plus the quantity 2y squared equals 5 squared. And now we can clean these up a bit. This quantity x over 2 squared is the same thing as x squared over 2 squared. And 2 squared is equal to 4. And this quantity 2y squared is equal to 2 squared y squared. And 2 squared is equal to 4. And then on the right-hand side, 5 squared is equal to 25. I don't really like fractions, so let's get rid of this 4 in the denominator. We can do that by multiplying both sides of the equation by 4. This 4 is going to distribute to both of these terms. 4 times x squared over 4 gives us x squared. And then 4 times 4y squared is equal to 16y squared. And on the right-hand side, 25 times 4 is 100. And for the second one, on the right-hand side, 5 squared is equal to 25. So now to solve this system of equations, let's subtract this equation from this equation. On the left-hand side, x squared minus x squared is nothing. And 16y squared minus y squared is 15y squared. And then on the right-hand side, 100 minus 25 is 75. Next, to get this y squared by itself, let's divide both sides by 15. On the left-hand side, the 15s will cancel each other out, so we have y squared. And on the right-hand side, 75 divided by 15 is 5. So we have y squared is equal to 5. From here, we can square root both sides. And that gives us y is equal to the square root of 5. And now we can solve for x. Let's copy down this equation and give ourselves some room. In the place of this y, let's substitute square root of 5. And square root of 5 squared is equal to 5. So we're left with x squared plus 5 is equal to 25. Next, we can subtract 5 from both sides, and we end up with x squared is equal to 20. After we square root both sides, we get x is equal to square root of 20. And now we have the exact values for x and y. We're ready to find the area. In the place of the x, let's plug in square root of 20. And in the place of the y, we can plug in square root of 5. The area is equal to 3 square root of 20 square root of 5. This square root of 20 and square root of 5 can be combined into the same square root. And 20 times 5 is 100. Square root of 100 is 10. And 3 times 10 is 30. Let's label it units squared. We now have the shaded area. This is the answer to our question. Let's put a box around it. How exciting.